Hi, I'm Masanori Kinuhata, manager for motorcycle product planning at Kawasaki. For the 2021 model year, we are happy to introduce our further development of the Versys SE. Again, it features Showa electronically adjustable suspension, but now with the unique advantage of Showa Skyhook technology, taking the Versys riding experience to the next level of comfort and dynamic performance. In simple terms, the machine feels as if it is suspended from the sky, allowing it to remain more comfort and responsive than was ever possible before. As Versys range leader for 2021, the SE model continues to feature a multifunctional TFT mirror, electronic cruise control, a range of IMU-supported rider systems, plus Bluetooth smartphone connection. That is not all the Versys news for 2021. A new S model joins the Versys family with a high standard specification, featuring most of outstanding features that made their debut on the Versys SE. The only difference from the SE model is the new Versys S features advanced manually adjustable suspension front and rear, delivering a brand new high specification model in the Versys retail class family, positioned between the standard model and the range-leading SE. The popular Versys Any Road, Anytime concept moves to the next level for 2021 with 3 distinct models, Standard, S, and SE. Whatever type of rider you are, and whatever type of road you ride, there is an ideal Versys for you. ありがとうございました。Let's good times roll.
Versys, when you look at it, it's an adventure-style bike. We call it an any roads bike. It's not an off-road bike, but an any roads bike. It's nice, high, wide handlebars, good protective screen, great ergonomic riding position, a fantastic seat. As a distance machine, it's incredible. But also, as a sport bike, you've got that 4-cylinder engine. You've even got an up-down quick shifter. And you can ride it like a sport bike as well. So that's the interesting thing for Versys S. It can be an incredible tourer, but it can equally be an incredible sport bike. At the heart of it, of course, is that 4-cylinder engine. And that offers so much. What that 4-cylinder engine does, apart from the fact that it's a classic Kawasaki configuration, is that low down, it's extremely smooth and docile. In the mid-range, it's got strong pull and flexibility. Now, perhaps those 2 facets are shared with some other adventure bikes. At the top end, you can really call on a lot of top-end rush and have a really sporting ride as well as the adventure ride. And I don't think that's something that other adventure-style bikes can really offer.
Kawasaki also has a system. It's called KIBS. Could you explain a little bit about that?
Well, that's probably just the start of the story, to be honest with you. So it has twin monoblock calipers at the front, as you point out, and they are acted upon by KIBS, an acronym which is Kawasaki Intelligent Braking System. If we take a step kind of back from that, at the very core of the Versys is a thing called an IMU, an inertial measurement unit, which measures 6 parameters: acceleration, deceleration, lean angle, yaw, things like this, along with the motorcycle's ECU. That really is the brain. That controls things like Kawasaki Intelligent Braking System, but also things like traction control and other systems within the bike. So there is quite a few layers of electronic rider aids that can help and support you in your riding.
I'm not a very technical guy. You talk about these electronic rider aids. I'm bound to get confused.
Let's just split it into 2, okay? On one side, you've got the people that want to adjust everything themselves. They want to go into depth and select everything and get the exact specification they want. The other side is probably people like you and I that want to find a setting quite quickly, get on their bike and ride. And with these bikes, you've got the advantage of rider modes. Basically, you can select from one of 4 rider modes. By selecting the first 3 modes, whether it be a soft mode all the way up to a sport mode, what that does is it combines traction control and power mode from a load of parameters which have been already assessed by the factory. So it's an instant setting for the bike. Finally, there is mode 4, which is called manual, where you can go into that depth. But for the people like you and I that want to just get on and ride, it's actually really very simple. When you get used to it and selecting on the handlebar switches, you can select the mode that you want and then go off and ride.
You're good to go.
Absolutely.
Good. If we want to talk about the Versys S, could you tell me a little bit about the significance of the bike in the Versys family?
You have your showroom models in their various color options. That's to start with. Mm-hmm. If you feel like it, you can look through the accessory catalogue and decide on which parts you might want to add. But we also make editions, which are basically motorcycles that you can specify and then just take from the showroom when you've paid for them.
They're ready to go.
Yes. So you have the standard model, here we see now. Then you have Tourer, which has panniers. Tourer Plus, which has the luggage, but also adds fog lamps. And then at the top, you have the Versys Grand Tourer, which includes a 47-litre top case, engine sliders, universal sat-nav bracket. So at the top of the range, you have the Grand Tourer, which I'm lucky enough to be riding at the moment. For 2021, it's all LED lighting on the Versys S. That means the headlamps, the rear light, the indicators, the fog lights if you've got them as an accessory, but also the cornering lights. They're also LED.
And what do the cornering lights do?
Basically, you go around a corner, and as you lean, the first light comes on and illuminates that part of the road that's in front of you. So your headlamps are illuminating the road ahead, and then you start to see a light shining at the base there. You lean over a little bit more, and the second light comes on, but it's not at the same angle as the first. It's lighting a slightly different part of the road. And then finally, at your maximum lean angle, you get the best display of lights, the most illumination on the road. So you've got the combination of your headlamps and the cornering lights.
Now, we saw a glimpse of the meters. Could you tell us a little bit more about the meters?
The TFT meters is, for me, one of the standout features of the bike. It's extremely clear and easy to use. We've had so many positive comments about it. I've ridden in very, very hard rain, fog, at night. Any condition, this meter is highly visible and conveys information really easily. One of its other advantages is that actually you can pair with the meter with your smartphone via Bluetooth. Kawasaki has some software called Rideology. You download this to your smartphone and you can interact with your machine. In terms of the Versys S, you can see battery condition, you can see how much fuel is left. On another level, it's almost like a riding log. You can see where you've been, you can track your rides, you can see the lean angle that you had on your ride, and things like this. Of course, for the Versys SE, which has electronic suspension, you can even adjust your suspension when you're not on the motorcycle. And the next time you go to your bike, you turn the key, it pairs up, and the suspension adjusts itself.
Let's wrap up the S and let's talk about the SE and especially the differences between the S and the SE.
So the fundamental difference is that the SE is the machine with electronic damped suspension, which is from our World Superbike partner, Shower. And for 2021, the big news is that the suspension now is using skyhook technology.
And what does skyhook technology mean?
It assumes that the motorcycle is held or suspended by an invisible hook from the sky. So the attitude of the motorcycle remains stable while the suspension moves and reacts to the bumps and deviations in the road.
I think we've more or less covered everything that we have to say about the Versys S and the Versys SE. And I think, Martin, that it's safe to say that you are a big fan. You say you're a Uber fan. And I would like to thank you very much for sharing your enthusiasm and your insights, of course. And I would like to thank you for taking the time to listen to us, talking about the Versys S and the Versys SE, the 2021 models. And I hope Adventure will be calling you very soon.